Good afternoon. It is important to know that some people succeed at learning new skills and knowledge, while others fail to grasp basic concepts. This is where learning theories come into play. The different theories of learning can help guide employees in their career development. By giving our staff access to a broad spectrum of training courses, workshops, and self-paced alternatives, we can enable their development and improve productivity for our company. If we invest in our employees with good and thorough training, then our employees will feel valued and our retention rate should increase. There are several different learning theories. The list includes reinforcement theory, need, social learning, expectancy, goal, adult learning, and information processing theories. Today I'll be focusing on the reinforcement theory and the social learning theory. The reinforcement theory emphasizes that people are motivated to perform or avoid certain behaviors because of past outcomes that have resulted from those behaviors. The process that takes place with this theory can either be a positive reinforcement, meaning a pleasurable outcome resulting from a behavior, or a negative reinforcement, which is the removal of an unpleasant outcome. The process of withdrawing a positive or negative reinforcer to eliminate a behavior and punishment is the unpleasant outcome of a behavior, leading to a decrease in that behavior. There are several benefits associated with this theory. From a job-related standpoint, learning an easier or more interesting way to perform a job. From a personal standpoint, meeting other employees who can serve as resources when problems occur is helpful. And from a career standpoint, increasing opportunities to consider new positions in the company. With the reinforcement theory, there are different ratio schedules. The first one is a fixed ratio, which is when reinforcement takes place whenever target behavior has been placed a given number of times. Continuous reinforcement is when reinforcement takes place after each occurrence of a target behavior. And lastly, variable ration schedule involves the reinforcement after several occurrences of a target behavior. Finally, in regards to this learning theory, there are two types of schedules. The first one is a fixed interval schedule, which is reinforcement at a given time interval after performance of a target behavior. The second interval schedule is variable interval schedule, which is reinforcement occurring periodically after performance of a target behavior. The second learning theory that I will be discussing with you is the social learning theory. This theory emphasizes that people learn by observing other persons whom they believe are credible and knowledgeable. According to the social learning theory, learning skills or behaviors come from 1. Directly experiencing the consequence of using that behavior or skill. 2. The process of observing others and seeing the consequences of their behavior. And 3. Learning is influenced by a person's self-efficiency. Self-efficiency refers to a person's judgment about whether he or she can successfully learn knowledge and skills. There are certain methods one can do to increase their self-efficiency. They include verbal persuasion, logical verification, modeling, and focusing on past accomplishments. Verbal persuasion refers to offering words of encouragement to convince others they can learn too. This could come from coworkers, management, or trainers conducting the training. Logical verification involves perceiving a relationship between a new task and a task already mastered. Modeling involves having employees who have already mastered the learning outcomes demonstrate them for the trainees. This would be especially helpful for those employees who learn by observing and seeing the task performed. And finally, past accomplishments allows employees to build a history of successful accomplishments. They will give them the confidence that if they learn new items, they will have continued success. The actual process of social learning theory moves from attention to retention to motor reproduction and finally motivational processes. The actual process begins with attention, and this is 4 different main items pertaining to attention. The first one is attention is influenced by characteristics of the model and the learner. Learners must be aware of the skills or behaviors they are supposed to observe. Number 3, the learner must have the physical capability to observe the model. And 4, the learner who successfully learned other skills or behavior by observing the model is more likely to attend to the model. The second one is retention. Number 1, learners must remember the behaviors or skills that they observe. 2, learners have to code the observed behavior and skills in memory in an organized manner so they can recall them for the appropriate situation. And 3, behaviors or skills can be coded as visual images or verbal statements. The third is motor reproduction. Number 1, involves trying out the observed behaviors to see if they result in the same reinforcement that the model received. Number 2, the ability to reproduce the behaviors or skills depends on the extent in which the learner can recall the skills or behavior. And 3, the learner must also have the physical capability to perform the behavior or exhibit the skill. And lastly, motivational process. This is when learners are more likely to adopt a model behavior if it results in positive outcomes. And 2, the social learning theory emphasizes that behaviors that are reinforced will be repeated in the future. As you can see, both the reinforcement theory and the social learning theory are two great learning theories for us to follow at our company. We just need to weigh the differences in terms of the two learning theories to see which one we should utilize for our training. Thank you.